So we're seeing quite a smear campaign against Canada Post, that it's a failed business, that it's costing us billions of dollars. But why is it becoming less competitive with the other couriers? Specifically, they happen to be American-owned couriers. Well, they are increasingly automated. Robotics and automation is increasingly replacing American workers, and now we're seeing it already seeping into Canada and globally. So that's something to consider. A robot doesn't need to sleep. It can work 24 hours a day, and at most it needs a robot technician to get it back on its quote-unquote feet. So this is not just, oh, Canada Post is poorly run. This is human labor, human workers under threat of being replaced and pushed aside and given all these other excuses. Oh, it's not being run as efficiently. Well, look at how the competition is competing, right? They're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week using robots. Amazon itself is making its own fleet of couriers, and they're making about 300,000 to 700,000 robots per year. So these things, you're not going to see them in mainstream media because it's too scary, it's too real. And who owns mainstream media? The friends of Amazon, the friends of it's a big, fun-loving country club, and we are not invited to that country club. So stop looking at which political party is they're all getting paid for. Look, we're getting bankers. We're seeing bankers as the saviors. They're charging you overdraft fees for not having enough money in your bank account when you're like struggling to pay your rent. So yeah, Canada is so wealthy that its food banks are completely exhausted and depleted. Canada is so wealthy that most of your paycheck, more than ever before, has to go toward your rent instead of spending into the economy. So consider that. Stop blaming your fellow party. Stop choosing blue or red. Just recognize that we are all working class people, and we don't have to play into their games of divide and conquer, division. Oh, it's culture wars. No other issue is bigger than our working wages. They need to go up, and we need to be recognized. So I'm not saying that Norway is better than Canada. I'm not saying Alaska is better than Canada. But they both pay their citizens oil money, profits from their oil, and that makes everybody happy. You never see Alaska in the news. You never see Norway in the news. There's an old saying, no news is good news. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just got to look at which countries are never in the news, because the news is always selling you fear and anxiety and, oh, look at this, all these bad things. Look over there. And while, you're getting pickpocketed. So stop being a fool, right? Jesus says, be wise like serpents. And you're not listening to Jesus. So why should you deserve the yoke that Jesus asks you to abide in? So choose to get smart and stop being so easily manipulated by jargon, euphemisms, a buck of beer, little child slogans, okay? Because, God is saying, I gave you tools, and you're in the Garden of Eden. If you want to eat from the bad fruit, if you want to get seduced by the snake, well, I gave you tools to prevent that. And so that's part of free will, is God's giving you free will to choose your own consequences as well. So it's time to get some tough love and understand that these little baby slogans that you're getting is because you're being treated like a baby, and it's time that you should deserve to be treated with more respect and more dignity. Give yourself over to high priorities. Okay? Stop going into this Mark Zuckerberg algorithm of more of these distractions. Stay focused. You really think you have time, but you really don't have time. It's right now. Judgment Day is every day.